Etepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Kasankma Keparu with another exciting video for you. And in this video, I want to talk about how we create the consensus reality. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get more notifications on when this video goes live and when I upload new videos. And also think about becoming a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1 or $5 a month, and you get exclusive videos there, and the link is in the description box. And lastly, we have some free ebooks that you can download right away, and they expand on the subject matter I'm going to talk about today. And on March 25th, I'll be releasing my new ebook, which is the new Capital Ankh, and that's going to be on how you can manifest your own reality. So that's going to be a really awesome ebook. So let's talk about how we create the mass consensus reality. So basically what that means is, how does the masses of people create the reality that we see before us? Well, that's through an implicit agreement, not an explicit agreement, but an implicit agreement. And it happens in twofold. Number one, before coming to this plane of existence, this fourth dimensional plane, Earth or Gaia, we all collectively get together and make an agreement. That agreement says there will be gravity, there will be stars, there will be a blue sky, things of that nature. Now, these people that we get together with, we have karmic ties to. They're part of our karma, and we agree to have a similar experience. And part of the agreement that you make with them individually is to recreate avatars of them. You know, you say, may I create an avatar of you so that I can interact with you and have an experience. Now, that's the first layer. Now, the second layer is what I want to get into, which is the implicit agreement that's made that creates the reality before us, such as the planes, the trains, the mailbox, such in things like bad luck, you know, or good luck. So those are the things. Actually, let me take this off, but I'm done listening. Sorry about that. Those are things that the masses of us make an agreement. This is why when we have individuals like Hitler or King Leopold or Don Trump, you know, or individuals that we see or we inappropriately name as vile individuals or evil individuals, and we want to blame other people for them, like, why did you vote for this person, or how could the German people allow someone like Hitler to rise up? We have to keep in mind that we are just as much as responsible for these circumstances that happen as anyone else. Even though we may feel that we have no direct involvement or we're detached, we're still responsible, and that's through the implicit agreement. Now, how does that work? That basically means that reality exists in cooperation with consciousness. And there's only one consciousness, which is the collective consciousness. So let me get into the nuts and bolts of this. One of the things I always talk about is that you have to protect your spirituality, or let's say your religion meaning to tie back to, just as much as the Islamic followers or Christians protect their philosophy or their religion. Osir, some call the God of the dead or the God of the resurrected, is just as important as Jesus or Buddha. And you need to fight to protect that, because others will encroach upon your freedom of spirituality and freedom upon religion. So where is this going? So what I'm saying to you is, I have lost friends and family members off of what I've chosen to do, which is to preach, proselytize, and to put myself out there to help save other people. Now, the masses of people go along with the dominant program, even though they really can't break it down as to why they should believe in a dominant program, or why should they accept the belief system or the things that they're told, which is really through 5 sensory input. And what does that mean? That means only believe in the things that you can see, feel, hear, and taste, or, you know, so on. And they do not take in consideration that there's a metaphysical component to things that happen in the physical world. but they're so readily available to just accept the physical explanation of everything and to dismiss any other perspective or viewpoint. And they will persecute you for being a pioneer or an explorer and trying to embrace a new reality. So you have to be prepared for that. And the way you can be prepared for that is to defend your position wholeheartedly and with passion, just as much as those in Islam, just as much as those who follow the Catholic religion. Be passionate about it. Don't be afraid to go out there and proselytize. Now, one of the things that I do is that I do challenge them. If they want to excommunicate me or make me seem like I'm crazy, I challenge them on their own belief systems. And I break it down to a scientific level using their own ideas of science to show them the fallacy of what they believe in. One of the things that science tells us is that we have around 40 to 60,000 thoughts per day. All right? And out of that 60,000 thoughts, we filter out the majority of those thoughts and cherry pick on certain thoughts to focus on. And what you focus on tends to expand. And when it expands, it becomes your reality. It becomes what we call as a reality tunnel or reality bubble. Everything else you filtered out and you ignore. Now, you need to understand that a belief is not fact, it's not truth, it's just a belief. A belief is an idea empowered with an emotion. This is why wars have been launched based on beliefs. This is why you have people who are able to do incredible things like heal themselves and heal others through their faith and belief. Michael Talbot talks about this in his book, Holographic Universe. Now, when you are having these 60,000 thoughts per day, obviously you can't dwell on all 60. So you, as I said before, you cherry pick and you pick out certain thoughts. Those certain thoughts that you pick out, you do so because they're already aligned with your preconceived notions, your preconceived beliefs. And they either reinforce your belief or they challenge your belief. So through the process of social engineering, you already have a belief system. So out of that quantum soup of 60,000 thoughts, you're picking the ideas that align with your belief system. And we've already said belief system or your beliefs don't have to be in alignment with truth or facts. But what you need to know and to be very clear on is that modern psychology tells us that when you're picking those thoughts to focus on, and what you focus on expands and becomes your experience or reality tunnel, that modern psychology tells us that you can choose through the will, the neocortex or the frontal lobe, to experience a different reality. But they say it this way: you can choose to look at the circumstances through a different perspective, which means that you are accepting new ideas. And when you accept those new ideas, you see it from a new perspective, and then you have what? A different experience. Some people only see things pessimistically. Other people look at the outcomes very optimistically. But you can shift that perspective to experience that same thing differently. Now, notice the words I'm using. I'm saying you can shift. So when you shift your perspective, you're really shifting to a new experience or a new reality. A new reality tunnel. We can take that a step further and say you've created a new reality for yourself because you have 60,000 thoughts that can help you to create a new reality or a new perspective on the same subject matter. And sometimes it's through context. You may, see a person who's a very angry person, but then when you realize that that person just lost their wife, and they've gone bankrupt and they have cancer, then you tend to, that brings context, and you tend to think about the person differently, and you now empathize with the person. Now let's take this a step further. All right. Once we get into the understanding that we can shift our perspective, which really means shift our reality by cherry picking new thoughts out of a 60,000 pool of thoughts to select from, you need to understand that the 60,000 thoughts per day is already filtered from the infinite number of thoughts that you are receiving, or that you can receive from the quantum realm, or the electromagnetic energetic field, which is just code. So if you have an infinite number of thoughts that you can pull from, but yet you're filtering that down to just 60,000 per day, what is the 60,000 then? The 60,000 is the parameter that is placed upon you by the dominant society. And that 60,000 thoughts per day then becomes the mass consensus agreement. Because the dominant society tells you that you only have 60,000 to choose from, but yet the reality is in the quantum field, there's an infinite number to select from, but you're only filtering out and taking the 60,000, then that is equated to mind programming. And because we're taking that 60,000 and we're dwindling it down even more, cherry picking to a select few to create our experience or to shift to that perspective or reality, then we have greatly limited our, psychologists say, perspective on life or metaphysical realm. We've greatly limited the number of experiences or realities that we can experience. Do you get what I'm saying here? I'm telling you that the way that we create the reality we see before us, and that we despise it, say, why is there racism? Why is there sexism? Well, that's because through an implicit agreement, you have chosen to accept 60,000 ideas. We all have, as a framework from which to operate. And that 60,000 thoughts are a limitation placed upon an infinite being, an infinite number of experiences, infinity. And when we all are on the same page with that, because most of those 60,000 thoughts are the same. For example, men think about money, sex, power, position. Women think about love, romance, how they appear, their weight. So all of those similar thoughts combine to create the mass consensus agreement that we see before us. And because we have been taught in this Western society to be polarized in left brain thinking, the predominant thought process that we have is good, bad, right, wrong, Democrat, Republican. You get what I'm saying? So these individuals who come in without question accept the dominant programming don't understand that they are accepting 60,000 thoughts per day when they could be accepting an infinite number from which to select from, or if you want to say, filter. Now, when you use the matrix analogy, this is all code, and we pull from that code one particular set of ideas to focus on, or one particular set of code to which we manifest into the fourth dimensional experience of our reality. So the next time when you see bad things going on in the world, such as a mass shooting and things of that nature, understand through the principle of Ma'at, which is the interdependence and interrelationship between all things, you have chosen to experience that. So don't act like that you are distanced from that, that you have nothing invested in that. You, by not explicit agreement, but an implicit agreement, have manifested that. So until you get to the point of where you are accessing the quantum realm or the quantum pool of infinite number of possibilities, because that's what really exists, probabilities and possibilities, until you get to the point of where you've elevated your spirit to access the infinite number of experiences, then everything that's happening in this world, you are responsible for it. You caused it to come to fruition. And when individuals tell you that there is no, well, that's, you're into that conspiracy theory stuff, there's no mind programming going on. Well, then you tell them, if there's 60,000 thoughts that we have per day, and out of 60,000 thoughts, we're filtering and dwindling down to even less, and those thoughts become our experience or perspective on life, then that is in itself a type of a programming that we have accepted. Because there is an infinite number of thoughts, ideas, or vibrations, because they're all in the same, one and the same, to select from. Now, those of us who choose to embrace the infinite quantum realm are known as outliers. But when in reality, we shouldn't be outliers. We should be the norm. And this is how the mass consensus agreement comes into play. And this is why you must fight as hard as possible to rid yourself of the dominant programming, of the social engineering that you're being bombarded with on a daily basis. Who says life should be about the acquisition of money or material objects? Who says this type of woman is beautiful and this type of woman is not? The dominant society, the programming. But in a sense, I understand in a way why many of us have accepted this. Is because there is a self-regulating system. Because those of us who are outliers or choose to think differently are heavily prosecuted. We're ridiculed. So a lot of us don't have that Haruka spirit, that warrior personality, to where we're going to fight tooth and nail to get out of the matrix. A lot of us don't have that. A lot of us are broken down. We're weary, we're tired, and we give in. And we accept the 60,000 thoughts per day and less than that to build our reality from. So keep in mind that these negative things that are happening in our world, like it or not, you have agreed to them. And right now, your mission is to ascend to fifth dimension, 5D, and get out of 3D and 4D. So I want to bring this to a conclusion. I hope that it's given you enough ammunition to defend your position against those who will come against you and try to ostracize you and ridicule you for what you believe in, because they are the very ones who don't know why they believe in the things they believe in the first place. They have accepted the limited spectrum of an infinite spectrum. So if you like this information, I want you to think about signing up to my program, Reality Manifestation, where I teach you how to create your own reality to empower you as God-man, God-woman. And we still are taking enrollment in that, so you still have time to sign up for it. And also, don't forget to become a Patreon supporter. I've made it really inexpensive, so there's no reason why individuals shouldn't be signing up for it. I mean, if it's only $1 a month, Think about it. It's really cheap. So anyway, I want to thank you for tuning in today. And this is Kasank Ma'a Keparu, son of Tehuti and Ma'at. And my aunt is a beautiful Heteru. Until my next broadcast, Amin Ra.